Hello. My name is Sofia Falk, and I'm the CEO and founder of Wiminvest. And today I'm going to talk about the fact that women will boost your business success and how organizations that seek global market relevancy must embrace the perspective of being a woman in how they act, think, and innovate, because otherwise they will lose, and that's how it is running business. All right, so I started Wiminvest, and we work with some of Sweden's largest corporations, transforming the organizations so we get more women on operating and management positions, because that will boost and enhance the business. But it all started when I was wearing this clothes and a backpack and a gun in my hands. I came in as top 10 out of 60 on a half marathon. And they said, "Oh, you're such a lucky girl." And I was like, "Lucky? I've been running like 2 miles. And you say that I'm lucky?" They said that I was lucky when I was at the shooting range and did all good. They said that I was lucky or that I ate a good breakfast when I did good on my academic exams. This was when I was 20 years old and I had entered the military service as an undercover agent, the intelligence service. So when I started there, I thought that, well, I have the same possibilities as the men to perform and to be myself and to be the best. Well, it wasn't nothing like that. It was very special. I stood out too much. So when I was 24, I met guys looking like these. So I was entering 24. I was entering a management team group meeting, and I was about to conduct a crisis management exercise. And so I set up my computer, and I had this management team looking like this, as I said. And a man raised his hand and asked, "So when is the consultant coming?" And I was like, "But that's me." No, you can't possibly know anything about crisis management. And my 4 years in the military service didn't count, because competence couldn't look like this, obviously, for them. So I started to get quite frustrated. Because it is like this. We are all made as a first designer class product. And if I'm trying to be someone that I'm not, how good am I then? And it wasn't only my experience, but I met hundreds of women. They were so frustrated and they were tired and sick of not getting used of their full potential. And also, then I moved into the recruitment service. I met a lot of HR directors and CEOs, and they were like, we don't get the women here. And when we ask them, they leave. What can we do? And I saw that a lot of companies was missing tapping into the full talent potential that were available. So gender equality for me has always been about this: money. If we're looking at private sector companies, it's about maximizing profits. And the companies that I was meeting, they weren't aimed to winning. They were actively ignoring facts, demographic facts, other facts that were crucial for their business success. And I asked them, okay, so how do you actually try to increase the amount of women in your organization? And they told me about all this network, female network. It might be good, but they always meet after working hours and they have snacks and wine in order to toughen themselves, right? And we are being mentored to death. Women are being mentored to death. Senior white males, they are instructing us how to behave, how to act, how to think, how to walk and talk like them. And they think that that will change something. and they think that they will boost their business. Well, that's not the fact, right? So when they were saying that they had this gender equality plan, these mentorship programs or networks, and they thought that would fix it, I was in shock. How could they act like this? Weren't they in this world where I lived? It's not like the women has to change to become more educated or toughen up. It's the organizations that has to adapt to reality. This is a quote from Freak Business. They said that we live in a surplus society with a surplus of similar companies employing similar people with similar educational backgrounds, working in similar jobs, coming up with similar ideas, producing similar things with similar prices and similar quality. So if you're not tapping into the full talent potential, if you only have this, how creative, innovative, and game-changing can you be, really? I mean, this is not a team that is high-performing. This is not a team that is great at decision-making. This is not a team that prepare more for each meeting because you don't know what to expect. This is not a team where we have eye contact with everybody in the room and give everybody airtime. It's not a team that handles risk very well because everybody is yes-sayers. And it's obviously not a team that will think out of the box. They look the same, they think the same, they are similar, they will come up with similar products, similar ideas, and that's how it is in business. What if we took care of the uniqueness of everybody? What if the teams would look like this? A diverse team. And a diverse team includes that having at least 30% of an underrepresented gender, age, nationality, or whatever. If the team looks like this, you get rid of homogeneity, you get rid of groupthink and autopilots, and instead you boost innovation, creativity. You use the diversity of these ideas because they have grown up as these persons, they have this perspective, and they will bring that to the table. So we will use the diversity of ideas and expand the innovation frontier and turn those ideas into business. That's what it will be when we have it like this. But it's not only to look at the client base. You have to be even more diverse than your client base in order to gain new and unforeseen market areas or business opportunities. It will be harder to manage a team like this. It will be more conflict, but it will make you to win in the end. So when I'm talking about gender equality, and as I said in the beginning, why women will boost your business, is that we have to mirror the market. We have to understand what our clients are willing to pay for. We have to understand how to interact with them. The fact is that women will soon control 75% of the total share of consumer products, households. And that includes also interacting with normal male industries such as finance, insurance companies, large industries. So 75% of the market. And we have also in the emerging markets, we have an increasing amount of households where the women take place, where the women are responsible for buying stuff. In the African continent alone, in a couple of years, the number of households will grow from 60 million to 100 million. And that's only in the African continent. What if India, Europe? Gender equality is about tapping into full talent potential. We have a talent pipeline leakage if we're not getting use of the women. And we have huge demographic changes in place. In 10 years, 1 billion women will enter the workforce for the first time in history. And that will completely affect our business and how the world is run. The population is growing older. We need talent. We have been talking about the war for talent a long time, But and since we have that, why aren't we tapping into the full talent potential? The women, they are more educated. All over the world, 64% of the persons examining with a degree from university, they are women. And in some areas, they are more than 70%. Talents are global, they move around. So it's a fact. And when I was meeting companies back in 2008, when I started my company, they were ignoring these very crucial facts. Okay, so we have these companies, and they say that, oh, well, we have the numbers, we have the women. Well, numbers are great, but do they get to play? Are they included? I mean, do they get to play with the same prerequisite as their male counterparts? I mean, companies are investing a whole lot of money in recruiting and developing these female talent. And they are not getting a return of that investment because the women are leaving. They are starting their own companies, we can see, to be able to perform well. They are leaving the large companies and they do something else. Why women is important is that in this surplus society, a company has to stand out from the crowd. Anyone can sell a car, anyone can sell clothes, anyone can sell communication and management services. But it is your culture and your attitude and your ambition that will make you and help you to attract talent. It's crucial. Ignoring the facts might not end up well. This is a very good picture. Hope that it's not like that when I serve. It will not solve itself with the next generation. You have to be proactive. You can't be reactive. The paradigm shift is already made. The women are here to stay. So, Wiminvest, we have been working since 2008 with over 40 global corporations, and it's corporations like Scania, Volvo, Ericsson, H&M, IKEA, Saab, large corporations, as large as any Swedish medium-sized city. And they are affected. We're working with a construction company, and they are selling male products by men for men, these things. But they were seeing that they were losing business in some markets because on the other side of the table, they were meeting strategic purchases that were women, and they wanted to interact with women. So what they did, well, they aimed very high, and they did all what it took to get a female on the other side of the table, and they're starting to win business. So even in this male industry, they are affected. Another company that we work with is a heavy truck company. And they have as an ambition to reduce their CO2 emissions, and they want their trucks and buses to last longer. Guess what? Female drivers, they are earning a lot of money having more female drivers because they drive better, they don't wear out the coaches as fast as their male counterparts. So by increasing the number of female drivers, they earn money. We have another company. It's a car workshop company. And they, you go with your car and you turn it in and you fix the tire or whatever. And they were facing the fact that they had a lot of women entering their workshops, but they were not coming back. Why? And they were talking to the women within the organization, and they faced the fact that women globally take more responsibility of the car. 70% of the women are going to these workshops. And why they're there, especially in the large cities, they want to do some other stuff to buy, I don't know, a share for the kids or things that is good to have in the car. So what they did is that maybe in Sweden at least, we might know which this company is. They put a female in the advertisements and commercials. And by doing that, they said, "Hi, I'm looking like you, I'm talking like you, this is a place for you as a woman." They also, and they chose pink, but they designed new products, they designed new colors, and they were adapting the whole business to a lifestyle where women take more responsibility for the cars. So today they have 70% women, and they wouldn't gain that market share without adapting to reality. So it's all about business. I take another example, a global corporation that is a mobile services company that primarily works in emerging markets. And their strategy is to be first in place and then grow extremely fast. That's how they will rule the world, they think. But in the sub-Saharan continent, they were falling behind their competitors. And they were like, what are we doing wrong? So they talked to the women working for the company, and they involved them in the business development. And what they did is that they added insurance service as an add-on product to the mobile device or the mobile service, because then you get more women. And they put these female salespersons out on the street. And what happened? They went all-time high. They went all-time high by thinking, using the perspective of being a woman, meeting women. So they actually are market leading in several countries in the sub-Saharan continent now. These companies that I've been talking about, they are proactive, and they know that they have to adapt now, or like 10 years ago. So when we work, my company, with these large corporations, we have this quote that is extremely good. It's the American architect Buckminster Fuller that said this, that you never change things by fighting the existing reality. You have to build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. And that's our method. So when we go to these companies, they get to choose women already working for them at all hierarchical levels, representing the whole company, and we make them the experts, because no one else but the women already working in these organizations would know what will take people to them, like them, to a management position or a key position or a position where no woman has been before. So they are focusing on inventing solutions that are applicable within 6 to 12 months within the company, and that will boost the business. And what have happened? Well, 90% of the women we engage that actually do within a year or 2 years take their next career step. And why? Because they design the role for themselves. And they also have better productivity and innovation because they get these diverse teams. They get higher customer satisfaction because they are attracting new clients. They are talking like the clients that want to buy their products. They have higher levels of job satisfaction because the women are not only a number, but also included, and they're taking use of their full potential. These companies have a better return on investment on the recruitment because they stay, they move around, they develop, they optimize their potential. So when we use the female as experts, what are the solutions that they come up with? Well, the first thing is that, and now I'm talking about, the things I'm going to talk about is only what the 4,000 or 5,000 women we have been working with say and are already implemented in some of the companies. So the first thing is set realistic targets that you can reach. We are working with some quota. We have to have 70-30%, like 30% women or 40% women. And if we have a company like Ericsson, they have 18% women. It's not that fast change, right? So what if we set a target that if we have 18% women, they will be reflected at our hierarchical levels, at all levels within the company, at all key positions, visible at events, in communications material, leadership programs. Some companies, when they have investigating, who are we putting in our leadership programs? Well, 4% women. What's that? It should be 18% if we have 18%, right? Important tenders, etc. So set realistic targets and make them representable everywhere. This is a very sad picture, I think. But when the women are there, when they are visible, how are they portrayed? What do they get to talk about? I mean, if we have a woman in an internal magazine, does she talk about how it is with work-life balance? Or does she talk about how she increased the market share or the business or the revenues the last year? In meetings, how many and how much airtime do the women get? It's a very good app. What's it called? It's called something. I can tell you later. Yeah, my husband is looking at that now. So, in recruitment, when we are talking and evaluating women, which type of vocabulary do we use? We were sitting in a leadership program and we were inventing the 18 talents that were to participate in the program. And I think they talked like 3 times more about the men. And the men, they were always, oh, he has such a potential. He's a nice guy. He's an awesome guy and whatever. And when they were talking about the women, it was like, oh, she hasn't done this before. And is she really capable of doing this? We had also an example from the Swedish Vetenskapsrådet. I don't know what it calls in English. But, and they were seeing who are we giving money, research money. And they had a guy and a woman with the same CV. And the guy, they were saying, oh, he can cooperate with a lot of people, and he's great, and he does this in an amazing way. And the woman did the same thing, but then they said, oh, she's cooperating. Can't she do this by herself? So the same thing, but we value it differently. Recruitment, crucial, of course. So do we actually have availability for everybody to see the advertisements? In some of the companies that we have been working with, they actually only put up 40% of the job ads available. What about the other 60%? Who get to apply for them? So make them transparent. And also, we have heard too many times, oh, we don't find any competent women. No, they don't exist. What if we introduced referral bonuses for women or men working in the company if they could get some women in the recruitment process? And many companies, they are taking away gender and name in the first screening process. What happens? More women enter in the recruitment process. When we are writing the semantics, do we write he or hen or he, she? And also we have a company, they were seeing, okay, so we really need a woman to this position. And the position where the headline was constructor. And they were asking the women, so why aren't you applying to this? Well, it doesn't get to me. What if we change constructor to product developer? What happens? 40% women applied. The trainee program at another company, that were having like 70% women, male applying, and they were asking the women, why aren't you applying to this trainee program? It's an amazing opportunity. Well, if you write like, you have to be available 24/7, and it was like, oh, it was a lot of in that job ad. And they changed some vocabulary. Instead of 24/7, write, take a lot of responsibility. That attracts women. And when will the management positions or key positions be available? We have men that are sitting like 10, 15 years on the same position. A company that we work with, they introduced a 3 to 5 year mandate period for the 2 high-level positions. So you can only sit 3 to 5 years, and that's good for everyone, right? And also, before you leave, you have to groom at least one male and female candidate for the position. When they say, oh, in these large corporations, well, she hasn't that experience, introduce a fast-track program instead of having an obligatory prerequisite that you has to be in 3 different continents for like totally 9 years. Make that 3 months. And also use twinning programs, or as we call it, added experience programs. Use a woman as a mentor to the senior white males. And what will happen? Use them as jokers in business development. This is a Swedish smorgasbord. And incentives, salary and benefits, etc., they are very static today. But companies that will succeed, they will make the smorgasbord for incentives tailored for each individual, tailored for that lifestyle that that person are living. Salary isn't the only thing. It might be, oh, I want to go to the African continent and to participate in a social responsibility project with my capacity. Or I want an assistant. I want more vacation. I want more education. I want help with grocery shopping, childcare. I want to be able to train, go to the gym during the day. I want health insurance, pension. So, smorgasbord for incentives. And also, we say that, oh, but the women, they can't become a manager because they get children. Like, doesn't the men get children as well? How is our culture adapted to the family situation that isn't that long time? I mean, small children, you have a couple of years, and then, I mean, we have these 40-plus women that are so eager to work. So it's a very short period of time. Travel and meeting policies. When do we start meetings? When do we end them? Some companies, they don't start meetings before 9, they don't end them after 4. They have travel policies. For certain levels of management, they don't get to travel more than 100 days, which is a lot, but I mean, it's still a rooftop. E-meetings. The FaceTime. We don't need to be on the work all the time. So the simple things that the women that we work with, they do get implemented, and they do give a change in these companies. They are transforming. But as I started, when I was in the military service, I tried to be someone else, and it didn't work because I was a girl. So to be yourself and to let everybody be themselves might be the most important task for all of us. We all have to participate in the change, and we all have to break norms and attitudes. But we all know that we go to these inspiring events, and it's like, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then it's New Year's Eve, and I'm going to quit smoking or whatever, and I'm going to start practice, and then it takes a month, and then you're at it again. So to sum up this speech, I want you to participate in a little exercise just to feel what change is all about. And then I need a guinea pig. Who? You. Okay, so you will all do this exercise very soon, and we will demonstrate how it is done. So we'll look on our appearance, how we look. Okay, you have shoes and a watch, and okay. And then we turn our back to each other, and then we change something in our appearance, and then the other person will guess what we have done. And it might be hard to see. Maybe. Are you ready? No? Oh, he's changing something very big. Okay? Okay. Let's turn. Oh, that's easy. Oh, you did your sleeves. And I did my hair. All right, so you get the exercise? Well, you will change 3 things and do it 2 and 2. Welcome. Thank you. Okay, so, shh. How many did find the 3 things that they changed? Oh, okay, not everybody. So what was this exercise about? I told you it was about change. What did you all do when you sat down again or got back to your coffee? You change back. I did not. And this is what change is all about. Change is about doing something completely stupid, like this maybe, and it feels awful right now because some of you is like, oh, she's looking like an idiot. And I'm feeling like an idiot as well, so I made my point, right? Yeah. But change is about this. Change is about breaking norms and believing in that is the right thing. And hopefully, I mean, half of the persons here will have this thing in a couple of months, maybe. Makes it trendy. You have to go first. You have to go first, and you have to endure. When we do this exercise, I've done it a couple of times. We have someone who's changing something like very discreet, and it's like, oh, no, that was simple, and we didn't see it. And someone is doing their sleeves or their hair, and it's like, oh, well, that's obvious and that's simple. But some guys, or women, but most of the guys, they do the belt thing. One step in, it's like, and they are laughing, oh, but that was no change. But that was actually a huge change for that person because last year he lost 15 kilos. So a small change that took a lot of effort. And that's when we're looking in these organizations. Some changes you will see, some you will feel directly and it's like, oh, that is obvious. And some changes that might be the hardest ones will take time and you maybe not see them, but you will feel them after a while. So hopefully today you have understood why women will boost the business. And of course, it's not only women. I mean, we're doing this transformation including ethnicity and age and culture and everything as well. It works the same. But gender equality, it's easy to see, and it's a pioneer initiative to create change. So thank you for listening.